你今天勇敢了吗？我是雅文。常常在我们的频道里面呢，你会看到很多关于往自己的内在世界去探索的这样的一个主题。其实这个常常是我们做任何事情能够顺利成功的关键。因为如果你自己都不知道你自己内在状态，你常常会一不小心呢，其实你心里面想要的是东，可是你却自己往西。我相信大家一定有这种感觉，或是你真的很想要一个亲密关系，可是你却把对方推得很远。总之呢，你自己心里面真正的需要到底是什么？我现在到底是需要冲一波呢，还是我需要休息一下？很多人连这样子的一个自我感受都非常的不清楚。为什么？因为我们有太多的责任，我们有太多的需要我们照顾的东西，所以常常把自己放到最后面。今天呢，我们就要聊这个主题，到底怎么样可以让自己从一个好像跟自己的内在完全是无法连接，你的内在像是一个外太空，但是你要怎么样从那样遥远的距离回到你非常的清楚你现在的需要是什么，又怎么样可以把自己照顾好？请期待今天的内容。
I think one, everyone can start from a place of just really understanding what our basic emotions are. What are the emotions that each one of us have? And so, sadness, loneliness, anger, joy, fear. People sit down and start to really understand, okay, these are the emotions that I experience every single day. And that's not all of them.
That's just maybe some key categories.
Yeah. Then go through your day at the end of the day and tell me when you felt those. When did you feel joy today? Mm-hmm. When did you feel fear today? Mm-hmm. When did you feel shame today? And you start to get good at recognizing, oh man, I was at work and I was really busy and I only had a few minutes for lunch. Somebody cut right in front of me, mm-hmm. and I felt so angry. And you're like, oh, that's really good to know, mm-hmm. Because you're starting to become aware of what's happening inside of you. Or I was scrolling through Instagram and I found another counselor that was like me, and I clicked on their page and they had 100,000 followers and I only have 1,000. I felt shame. I realized all of a sudden I was feeling insecure. I was feeling insignificant. Mm-hmm. Wow, if only I could be like them. Mm-hmm. We normally dismiss those. Mm-hmm. Instead of dismissing those, let's pay attention to where those are at. Mm-hmm. And then once you can do that, once you can pinpoint where it is in your day, share that. Mm-hmm. Share that with your wife, or share that with a friend. And there's a good friend of mine has a ministry called the Connection Codes. And it's a great resource for people to go and get their book or do their e-course. But this is what they do. They give you an emotion wheel, mm-hmm. that you look at every day. And then I would spend 4 minutes talking to my wife about my emotions that happened throughout that day. And
why 4 minutes?
Because you get good at doing it really quick. Oh. So I felt shame when I went on Instagram today and another counselor had 100,000 and I only have 1,000. I felt angry when I got cut off today, mm-hmm. on my way to work. I felt lonely, mm-hmm. when I was going through a hard time at work and you were away and I knew I couldn't text you. Does that make sense? So yeah. You get really good, uh-huh. if you start practicing, you get really good at going throughout your day and being able to take people, mm-hmm. through your day. I felt insecure when I came up here and I'm in TAIPEI, never been here, don't understand the language, right? Uh-huh. I felt joy when we started talking and it was something that I really feel passionate about. Mm-hmm. I'm able to just in real time recognize what I'm going through because I practice.
I love the word real time because I think with that self-awareness thing, we sometimes get to check when we're on vacation.
Yeah.
Or when we have like a normal kind of break, or when a lot of time we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
But if we can practice to the point when it becomes real time, then we won't spend time or waste time medicating
Yes.
our pain or finding substitutes for what we really want. And I can see already, like, men finding the right women
Yeah.
and the women finding the right man,
Yes.
and taking rest when you need a rest instead of trying even harder. You know, I love that real time, and
Yeah.
I think that's a very big goal.
It is, and if you practice, journaling's another way that
Yeah.
people can really start to understand what is it that happened to me today, right?
Right.
And because most people, why they don't know what's going on inside of them is they never actually stop to see. So I go from this thing to that thing to my phone to this work thing,
Yeah.
then to YouTube to watch
Yeah.
stuff, and then
Yeah.
back to this thing. I've
Yeah.
never actually stopped to go, hello, self, how are you? What's going on? How did that affect you? The other reason why is because we often feel really powerless to solve what's going on inside of us. So if you feel pain or shame or guilt and you don't know what to do with those, then you don't want to see them.
Right,
You push them down.
Right.
But we don't want to do that, right? Because you can only fix, or you can only really heal what you are aware of. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing if I feel shame. I'm not trying to feel shame. I don't want to feel shame. I just do. And
But it's just an uncomfortable feeling, but there's no right or wrong.
there's no right or wrong. But when I think a lot in the church, we're taught you shouldn't feel shame, or we're taught you shouldn't feel fear. And the truth is, like, I shouldn't live in shame, but I don't get a choice whether I feel shame.
Exactly.
I shouldn't live in fear and operate out of fear, make decisions from fear, but I don't get a choice whether or not I feel fear. There would be no such thing as courage if I didn't feel fear. Because courage is moving forward through my fear, right? And so we feel a lot of guilt around what we should feel and shouldn't feel. And instead, if we could just be okay with being human beings and having human experiences, then if I feel shame, it's just a place for someone to connect. It's just a place for my wife to understand me, like, oh, wow. So my wife doesn't have to fix me. She just has to hear me. So when I'm doing my 4 minutes with her, she's just going, oh, wow, yeah, oh, tell me more. And then it's her turn. And she goes, I felt so lonely when I was parenting the kids today and you were at work. I felt so afraid when the kids had a cold, and I started to worry if it was going to get worse. I felt, well, what happens? If I hear her 4 minutes and I really listen to understand, she feels connected.
Yes.
It didn't take 2 hours to connect. It took 4 minutes
That's very short.
for me to connect to her.
Yeah.
And I can do 4 minutes. But married couples, we often try to talk each other out of the emotion that you're having.
Yeah.
Oh, you feel shame? Don't feel shame. You don't need to feel shame. Or
You're a good mom.
Yeah, you're a good
Don't feel
mom.
that.
Instead of just going, oh, wow, yeah, I understand that. We want to feel powerful, and we're afraid that what our spouse is going through,
Right.
it's going to make me feel powerless. That's why I want to fix you instead of just be with you.
Well, I love how that 4 minute kind of practice. I think everybody can make it 5 or 10, however long you want it to be, but that's intentional to create a space to connect. And then I'm also very inspired by how we just search on the inside to see where our emotions are and connect with the day.
Yeah.
And you started to really know where you have been.
Yeah.
Instead of just feeling, oh, I had a long day.
Yeah.
I'm tired now.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of nuances
Yeah.
through what happened today, which made today meaningful. And I really love
That's
what
true.
you said about even when you feel all those uncomfortable feelings, they are opportunities.
Just a place to connect.
Exactly. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, man, self-awareness is so helpful because it tells you what's really happening, and you're able to actually share your story of what you went through all day long, and what was meaningful to you, and what it took to get you from here to here. And so people just need to practice and be okay with where you're at. It may not be where you want to be at, but it doesn't matter. It's where you're at.
Right.
And if you can accept that, then you can do whatever you need to do with that information, and you can continue to move through your day.
Yeah, and I think self-awareness also is a key to understand about where you are as a group, or as a couple, or
Absolutely.
as a family. Because when you know how to find out that about yourself, you started to be able to kind of do that together.
Yeah.
And everything becomes so intentional.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so like with my daughter, who's 3 years old, she can tell you, I feel sad, I feel lonely, I feel angry. She can identify the different emotions that she has at 3, because we teach her, we talk to her like that. Oh, Edie, do you feel sad right now? Oh, I feel sad. Edie, oh, it looks like you're feeling angry. Or, so she's able to, at a really young age, start to identify what's going on. And we can teach our kids, that way we can create a real heart-to-heart connection. You know, when you are self-aware, what it does is it helps you in real time understand what you need. Imagine if you weren't aware of when you needed water. And so you only drink water when you wake up in the morning, and then you don't drink water all day because you're not aware. And you're like, gosh, why does my head hurt so bad? Why do I feel so terrible? It's like, well, all you have to do is be aware that you need water throughout the day. And so we have learned to become aware of what it feels like to need water.
Right.
We are learned to be aware of what it feels like to need food. We learn to be aware of what it feels like to eat too much sugar. Oh, that feeling right here, that doesn't feel good. And so the same way that we do that with food and water, we need to do that with our emotions. Like, wow, I'm feeling this. Oh, this means I need this. Great. Now I can go get that need met, and I'm healthy. That's awesome.
I think I really love that analogy to put in the physical.
Yeah.
Like when you don't feed yourself, when you need food, you get consequences and you feel pain. And water the same way. So I love that how you can really make that so real. And then with the emotions, even though you don't see it as much as the physical food or water, but it's the same deal. It's still as real as just lacking water and lacking food. So it's really important to practice that. 我觉得今天我自己的收获好多哦，因为真的我们的目标应该是要能够做到你自己的真实需要，你随时都知道。你可以想象吗？就是当你自己都没有办法理解自己，都没有办法跟自己在一起，也没有办法照顾好自己的时候，那个自己会有多么的寂寞。所以呢，欢迎大家留言在底下跟我们说，今天呢这个分享里面收获是什么？还有就是你有什么样的方式来意识到自己内在的需要呢？请留言跟我们分享，也开启小铃铛 ，follow 我们的 IG， 然后呢订阅我们的频道。最后你也 ，Let's go do that again， 可以勇敢 ，1 2 3，
Wait.
可以勇敢，
可以勇敢。
Perfect. See you next time.